The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome, folks, to another wonderful edition of the Power Trading Hour, coming from my palatial estate in Tampa, Florida. I'm not in the office today. I think I'll be back in on Friday, and then probably out for a couple of weeks. I've had knee problems for a great deal of my life, and this is going to be my third surgery on that knee. It's always the same problem. Started off racing dirt bikes and hurting it. Gave it a few years rest. Then started doing ski jumps out in Colorado till I blew it out again. And then later back to dirt bike riding to practice for road racing on motorcycles. And pretty much the whoops did it in again. Had to stay off it for a while, and just age, I think, and activity again have got back to the point where it's ready for the third round of going in there and cleaning stuff out. No new knee, but going to have to stay off it for a while, get a little bit of physical therapy, and then I'll be back in. So I'll be gone on Tuesday next week, so I'll have a 4-day weekend. And, of course, that Tuesday I'll be getting a little tiny operation. Probably won't last any more than 45 minutes. And be home probably an hour or two later and have it all taped up, and then sit around for a week, then go back for a little physical therapy, and then I'll probably be back in the office a bit. So don't write me off about seeing my smiling face every day at TFNN, but that is the plans for the moment. Other than Tuesday next week, I should be in every day. And we'll be trying to enlighten everybody about what I see going on in the market today. What do we have going on? Probably the surprise of the day was today. Yeah, hang on a second here. Program options, server 2. Yeah, there we go. Carnival Cruise Line, CCL, down on monstrous volume. It's recovered some of it, but there's been a huge gap down, actually blew through an existing gap that had been out there, and now it's going to go right back to being support. It was then resistance, and now it's resistance again. That's at just about that 3380 level. On CCL, which is Carnival Corporation. You could kind of already see that things were going bad. If you lived here in Florida, you would have heard constant ads about, you could get 3- and 4-day cruises for as little as $199 a month. Mostly a lot of people, right after a lot of the problems with cruise lines, which are thick as thieves down here in Florida, not only do they go out of the Tampa port just south of here, Manatee, and then, of course, Boat Row over in Miami, where they just come in and leave as fast as they can. But it's kind of interesting. I'll always remember the first cruise I went on, and it was out of Miami. But we'd been working on a presentation for a giant food firm to sell them some computers, and I forget how long I think it was 3 or 4 months, and the company was pretty much I was working for at the time was going to live and die, and literally 3/4 through the presentation, which was going to be about an hour, we walked in there, and what happened? Everybody started running out of the room into another room that had a big TV. The space shuttle had blown up. This had to be 1986, I'm pretty sure of. And that was pretty much it. No one wanted to pay any attention to our presentation. I quit a few days later, and that had to be like in February, I'd go back and look at the date, but all I remember is all my hard work for about 4 weeks, or for the last 3 or 4 months, blew up in my face. It was for W.R. Grace, the food company, and just was rather interesting to see in 1985. So it was kind of interesting. Anyway, decided to call the travel agent. Found out that they had last-minute deals, and went down and took a cruise. And I'm almost thinking that was the same cruise. Anyway, met a bunch of other fine singles, both women and men, that had gone on that cruise, and we ended up going on 5 cruises together. About I don't know, half the people were from Michigan, maybe a third of the people were from Michigan, another third were from Chicago, and another third. But we had 12 people that ended up going on cruises about every 6 months for several years after that, and it was nice. I just kind of always remember hearing Phil Collins' song, "Please Take Me Home," just after we got out and we got in the cab and we were all headed back to the airport together. And that's the first time I heard that song. I think it had just come out. Maybe it was on a later cruise. You know how memory plays tricks on it. Anyway, CCL down, but just the ads running here on Florida, $199 for 4 days. They're hoping you would actually drink it all up. And it's just down on monstrous volume. Look for this low of the day is going to get tested. Certainly the 3265, which was the last major low out here, is going to get tested. We're getting into probably the quietest part of the year for cruises now that winter's over. Just not a whole lot there. So anyway, my disco friendly engineer says that it was 1986. So maybe it was maybe a year later after we did the first cruise together. But anyway, you couldn't miss the ads down here. Sign up for the last minute, get on the cruise, pretty much all that. So, if you didn't, they try to make all their money on alcohol, and in fact, a great deal of it is made on alcohol on those boats. And I can just remember it hit the news here once. If you've ever been to Tampa and how big the bay is, it takes about 30 minutes or so to get from the cruise docks out past the Sunshine Skyway Bridge and take you out into the ocean. But they had a Leonard Skinner cruise. And kind of weird that this happened, but apparently Leonard Skinner fans drink nothing but Budweiser. And they had enough for 7 days, 7-day cruise of Budweiser. I guess either Leonard Skinner covered bands or part of the Leonard Skinner band. But before they could even make it to the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, they were already out of Budweiser, which I probably told you a little bit how that cruise was going to go. But Budweiser actually got a ship to meet them out in the middle of the ocean for more Budweiser. But anyway, just one of the biggest moving stocks out here, down on horrific volume. Probably seeing this thing make a bigger ABC down. And, of course, if we want to just look at those expansions real quickly, see if we can get it could be that one. Trying to think. It probably could. 1-to-1 on a huge move in this market. If it breaks the previous B point, which certainly had enough volume to do that today, would take you to $28.77. If you start off with a big move February 4th as the A point, April 5th as your B point, and May 8th as your C point out here. So this thing looks like it get back into the $28 range, no problem at all. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. You can also, since I am at home, email me at PATH, that's P-A-T-H, at TFNN.com. And since I'm home, I can pick those up almost instantly, maybe answer your question if you don't want to go on the line and talk about it. Of course, we've got a market out here that's all practical purposes, bouncing around slightly higher, up 6 points. It was up 6 points. It was down 6 points. We've got 2.4 billion shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape. I wanted to look and see how Microsoft was doing, and it's about 4 cents off today. Of course, if you're probably going to see on news tonight the release of their new product. People have been calling it Xbox 720 to replace Xbox 360. At their Redmond office today, they rolled out what is going to be called Xbox One, which is the replacement. It's going to have a really heavy-duty processor, Skype built in, a Blu-ray player built in, the next version of the Kinetic interface, which is a much higher resolution interface for the Kinetic game-playing interface. No word on pricing that I saw yet today. Maybe that will come out later. But a lot of push for, and probably the only good news out here has been what the current CEO has had very little to do with, and that is the game section of Microsoft. So very nice. Microsoft's always had a good amount of value locked in it. I think Microsoft really started moving when they were pushing to break the company apart, and also some of these activist investors have been working very hard to get the bomber out of the way and get somebody back. Of course, that's going to be rather hard with both those guys owning a huge percentage of Microsoft, both Ballmer and Bill Gates, but it looks like it's more likely every day, and be interesting. Anyway, I'm just getting a lot of one-liners. I did watch the rollout on the Internet of the new product and what they were talking about, and it's a game system, so I'm not going to get too wound up, but Microsoft is working on a way to put a lot of things together. Part of this will be what they call Microsoft Glass, which is a way of putting together content from both tablets, smartphones, and your desktop back to your TV that has the Xbox on it, and a pretty slick operation, actually. Of course, they want to own the big television system in your home, and the question is how effective is that going to be anymore with everybody playing games that were maybe not even as good as Commodore 64 games, but can be played mobily when people are bored, and that will be interesting. Herbalife did and was closed for trading for a little while today. It was kind of on non-news, which I thought kind of interesting, and I'm not exactly sure why Herbalife is every time you turn around halting their stock for dubious news that it should be halted. Of course, any kind of company can halt it any time they want. I suspect that we see the big invisible hand of Icon back here continuing to try to push this stock. HLB, is that right? HBL, maybe?
TFNN is excited to launch our brand new software charting program, The Art of the Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, Art of the Charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. Art of the Charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rose, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments. And whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
As we come back, we're going to go to a first phone caller, and it is Jason in Hawaii. How you doing today, Jason? Hello? Is he not there? Hello, Jason. Are you there? Well, we'll see if our engineer says anything here. I was looking for anything. Oh, there he is.
I was driving, so
okay.
drop call.
Good enough. Anyway, what do you want to look at today?
IPGP.
Is that IPG Photonics Corporation?
Yes, that's one.
So what do you think?
I was thinking of getting in at 57, but because they have such a high volume 2 weeks ago, so I didn't pull the trigger. But it looks like it's coming back down.
Yeah, it's either doing an ABC down, or it's going to actually test the lows out here at $56.34 from your May 1st low that had fairly decent volume, 2.4 million shares for this. Of course, it also could be that ABC down, which would take you to 51.12. So you need volume to actually dry up very lightly right at that gap at 56.5.
I see. It was correct to not pull the trigger 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even in hindsight, it certainly is. But you had that huge break down, gap down, and it's just come back and started to fill it. It's rare that you get a stock to go ahead and just blow through a huge gap volume data like that. Even if you're thinking about going along something like this, you want it to come down and test the low of that day, which was 56.37 on May 1st, and that gets you a much better setup out here. But you want that thing probably tested with, like, I don't know, 500,000 shares, something like that.
Now,
and then
on that, okay, go ahead.
And then if you get that, you're probably, your odds of it getting back to $61 are probably fairly good. Going higher than that, you're going to know when the volume gets there, but you're going to need some significant volume, million and a half, something like that, shares.
Now, if it comes back down to $57 with higher volume, would you go short on this stock?
No, if you were going to go short, you needed to go short yesterday.
Oh.
You basically came in a 50% retracement from the whole move down. And if you're watching on Tiger TV or you can watch this show later, you're going to see the chart. But basically it came to a 51% retracement of the move from 67.24, which started this whole down move on April 1st. And so you had that huge move down, which was, 11, almost $12, $11. And so you got a 50% bounce. That was the time to pull the trigger. Your risk reward pretty poor right now. So you probably want, if this thing gets a bounce and the volume all drops out, then you short it probably above 61. But I would say that this thing is going to do one of two things. But I am going to say 85% that it tests that 56.37 before you want to play this one way or the other. So without a bounce, you can't short it. Without lower a test of the lows out here on lighter volume, you can't buy it. So you're in kind of no man's land at the moment.
Oh, I got it. So thanks for the analysis. Thanks.
You bet. And IPG Photonics Corporation develops and manufactures fiber lasers, fiber amplifiers, diode lasers. This has not been a very strong sector in the whole market. So if you're trying to pick this up, it's not like this has been the strength of the tech sector out here. It has been high tech that had at least some level of dividends. And I think that's why you've seen the hunt for dividends go into Microsoft, Intel, and some of these other companies, even though you can pretty much say that there hasn't been a lot of upgrades in what the companies are going to make, just at the targets that analysts are putting on these things as more money from Bernanke comes into the market and creates more of a bubble that one day he will have to be responsible for. But almost every one of these has been poor. We'll be back in just a minute.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, if you were watching a little bit of TV today, you would have seen that they had the CEO of Apple on the hot seat today. Senator Levin, who is not running for re-election, is the bomb thrower out here, making all kinds of claims that Apple basically might as well just be a bunch of commies because they don't want to turn over all their money to the U.S. government. They operate in many countries across the globe. We have the highest corporate rate at 35% in the world, and no one will bring their money back. And he's there with his Pampers, soiling his britches because, of course, Apple is just not wanting to play ball with the confiscatory rates that he wants to set. Most of the other senators, pretty level-headed, asking what it would take to actually get multinational companies to move their money back here. Some, as far there were a couple of senators basically going after Ireland because those guys figured out several years ago when all the banks blew up what they were going to need to do to get their country back in order. They dropped their rates, and suddenly everybody and their dog ran to open up businesses in Ireland, manufacturing in Ireland. Things still not back the way that they should be, but they are on the fast track, at least in Europe, when we have some countries like France going to 100% interest income tax rate over €1 million of the year. If you missed that over the weekend, last year your 2012 income will be taxed above €1 million at 100%. And Margaret Thatcher could never have said it better than she said it herself, or no one else will. And that is, with socialism, eventually you run out of other people's money. I don't know what a better signal is that trying to tax 100% of what everybody makes. Below that €1 million, they're going to go to 72%, I believe. So they're going to keep 28% of the first €1 million they make, and nothing of the additional euros they made. In fact, we saw a lot of people leaving France over the last year or so, and it's going to be kind of interesting, kind of a latch-ditch effort to take as much money as you can from those with money. But, of course, no one's going to be moving there, and no one's going to be building any new businesses in France. Do not be surprised when it pulls a Detroit and everybody looks at it and goes, it's your own fault. You had policies that didn't work. You continue to push those policies that didn't work. And, well, now you made your bed. You're going to have to lie in it. But it is rather interesting to see these congressional hearings and what they're pushing out there. Like I said, most senators were rather well-balanced. I don't know what going after Apple is going to actually give them. Just a few people trying to throw some scare of anything in them. And, of course, to a certain extent, these hearings are nothing more than, hey, mister, maybe you should give me some money so no one comes along and breaks your windows. It is kind of a protection racket, and maybe this is what it's all about. I guess we get the government we deserve, but at least maybe it's a warning shot across the bow for those companies. I wanted to see how some of these companies were doing today as we look at previous highs getting broken. One is, we're actually looking at some of these companies that are bouncing a little. Zinc was one that just because it seems to be breaking I guess the trend for most commodities out here. Horsehead Holdings Zinc was trying to go through the previous high of March 8th with 560,000 shares. We had 303,000 shares yesterday. Did try to close above it, but did not. Looks like we're maybe closing above it today, but very light volume again today, 108,000. So some of these companies like copper. Let's see if I can actually pull some of these back. Let's see if I can find a couple of these. I've got so many windows open here. Let me find it. Do I see copper out here again? No. But, we've got another day. Gold, of course, under heavy pressure first thing this morning, now just off $10.50. Silver still being weak, down 21 cents, but not near as bad as we have seen in the past. Natural gas up a bit today, and we're seeing UNG up about 57 cents. Apple, not a whole lot worse for the wear, off about $3 right now, but maybe we ought to look at that real quickly and see. But of course, that's when you've got people after you like the congressman that don't like you paying. And I guess Apple's defense, they said that they actually paid $6 billion in U.S. Taxes last year to the Treasury, U.S. Treasury, and so they say, hey, we paid $6 billion. What did you do? And of course, congressmen don't do anything; they just take. But anyway, we've got Apple out here. It's in a bigger trading range. That trading range is now extending to just under 470, back down to 385. I would expect with this kind of volume that we could see at least one more test, maybe down around in that. You got the 70 volume down day on the 17th of April with 33.7 million shares. That's kind of acting as support, at least the top of that day at the moment, which is what was the high? 420. So we got into that, about 420. And maybe a little bit more, maybe 425. 435 tends to be where most of the buying starts to peter out. Last time we kind of got a big run on short covering. A lot of the shorts are starting to pull out of Apple, and there's just not the kind of volatility I think that most people have been used to out here. TRW is another one of these companies that is right up here at the highs. It's very interesting to see. I did have an email question during the break that I wanted to get to, and that was, what do we see today happening? And I thought, for the most part, we're probably not going to see a lot of movement in the marketplace today. 5 points up or down, probably not a big deal. Reason is Ben Bernanke on the Hill to testify tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. At 2 o'clock, we get the minutes from the FOMC meeting. So probably going to see a very light day tomorrow. I imagine we're going to be and continue to be in the middle of the trading range out here, and don't see a lot of movement before then. Probably, we tried to go down. Now that we've tried to go up, as far as I can tell, we're probably going to close out maybe a couple points higher in the S&P, but I just don't see a lot of people blindly buying into the day before the Fed president once again probably comes out saying that he's talking more about throttling the amount of money. He's already at least let it leak somewhat that we're going to be down to about $40 billion in July from the $80+ billion a month that we've had since Christmas. So I just can't see a lot of people jumping ahead of that train before we get to the station tomorrow. So probably going to see maybe even a little pullback. I can imagine us closing totally flat on the S&P by that time. One of the reasons is just the tech sector itself, pretty much flat today. Of course, Apple off $2, not a big deal out here, but we're seeing other. Anyway, TRW up against its previous high on half the volume. Other stocks out here, SVM, which is Silvercorp Metal Mining, might have found a bottom. Certainly starting to see these lows tested with a very light volume in the gold and silver sector. Silvercorp Metals, SVM, is one of these, 2.4 million shares, April 17th this year, 2.4 million shares. And we've had the highest volume day has been 1.1 million shares, and that was on Friday. Oh, excuse me, U.S. yesterday. I got to sneeze. Shit. Shit. Every time air conditioning turns on, for some reason, I don't know if it's dust or what, but or maybe it's just a sudden chill, tends to always get me to sneeze. Okay, other stocks and movements out here. Murphy Oil Company, another one up here, trying to bust a high-volume move. Last one was January 30th, 2.4 million shares at 64.10. We've got tried to purchase it yesterday on 1.6 million shares, not quite half, but pretty light. Today, 630,000 shares. So not a lot of people getting ahead of this. M&T Bank Corporation, MTB is the symbol on that one. Let's see what else we have out here. We've got 1.1 million shares at 105.90 on February 19th. We've come into that once. It was about 50 cents short on April 11th on almost half the volume. We've got pretty much the same thing and a nice little doji out here forming today on MTV. So you can see this thing probably come back to $100. It hasn't had a lot of energy, especially the last few days. GLD in this, of course, we've been talking about this thing coming down. I really wanted this thing to pierce its low, and I think we're probably still going to get a chance for that. The April 15th low at 130.51 with 93 million shares. Got into it, but did not pierce it. 34 cents higher on yesterday, and for the low, and 21 million shares. So not a lot of energy to blow out that low. But I certainly would like to see one more spike into it to scare everybody out and make it hated and despised. And we could see at least a couple bucks lower intraday on this thing before we wash out all those longs in the gold market that are thinking they're going to hang on. Fortuna Silver Mines, FSM, another one out here, testing its lows, $2.61 on April 18th, 870,000 shares. He's back. Okay. 870,000 shares. What do we have? Went below it. We're closing back above it. So we are getting some decent buy signals on some of these. This is actually a pretty nice setup. You could see that this thing could easily get back to that $3.50 level without much a problem out here. And exactly what I'd like to see after the automatic rally off this 261, which is you get your automatic rally and a nice slow descent, not a lot of volume in this thing. I don't know about this particular company. Maybe someone wants to call in and talk to Tom about it, but certainly the chart looks good out here, and everything what you like to see. You want some time. You want these people to get out of these things, and you've probably got fairly decent support at that 260 level and a very clear risk reward on it. FSL, Flowserve Corporation, another one trying to break out. We've been looking at very light volume the last couple of days. Last major high on this was March 20th with 860,000 shares, just under that $170 level at 169.54. So what do we get last couple of days? 271,000 yesterday, 215,000 so far today, 261 on Friday. A lot of these just whiffing. Now, of course, we're going to be closed on next Monday, and that means that it would not be impossible to see a very, very light volume push into that and maybe see some change over the next week. If we're going to start getting a pullback, that would be fairly logical. So I think tomorrow is going to be up or down for the rest of the week. If we see Ben Bernanke come out and drop the Chalupa or the Baby Ruth in the punch bowl, I got both of those in there today, Disco Steve. He was wondering why I hadn't actually said that. I said, well, because nothing has really dropped lately. But we are looking at that out here, and I suspect that is going to say which way this market's going to go into Friday. It's probably all about tomorrow and what Bernanke says and what the Fed minutes are. I don't expect whatever he says to actually have a lot of meaning until we see what his brethren out there actually are going to be doing. Again, you've got plenty of time to give me a call or an email through the next break that I can answer before the end of the show. What do we have in first? Horizon National Corporation. Another one with light volume. Maybe we've got a better one here to show that I'm interested in. Nope, we're going to break now. We'll be back in just a minute.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
Well, the market's tried to push higher, it's tried to push lower, it's trying to push higher, it's off its highs. Volume is starting to really decrease over the last 30 minutes, and I suspect everybody is in the wait and hold mode. And, we probably close at 1668, something like that today. And everybody just get teed up for Ben Bernanke's testimony in the morning and the FOMC meeting notes at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So hurry up and wait, kind of the Army mantra is what we're looking at. But got a few other things going on here. I'm looking at Copart today, CPRT. They are out of Dallas, Texas. Provides online auctions and vehicle marketing services in the United States and Canada. This one's kind of interesting. I think we talked about it several days out here. 3447, 5.5 million shares. Got into this thing with 1.5 million shares, and of course that was pretty much it. These things not really giving some signals that makes me want to pull the trigger to go short, but certainly at highs where higher prices look to be somewhat problematic. Citi, of course. I didn't even get to talk about Jamie Dimon, which I think it was kind of political. Some of the people you could see out this morning were trying to spin it. Most likely the spokesman for CalPERS, the California Union's retirement fund, probably the most interesting thing is that they have been after him after he said some less than wonderful things about our current president coming up to the election. They have been out after him. Last year, the vote came in at about 34% to separate his CEO job and his chairman of the board job. This year, it was even less at 30. So there's politically motivated stuff everywhere you turn on both sides of the aisle. So I'm not going to go down that road, but I am going to say that if anything, his position has now been solidified. Once you've gone through that, it only makes you stronger. I suspect that the days of him being picked at like our CEO of Apple today are probably over. They've attacked him, and he's withstood their attacks and probably gotten a little stronger. Anyway, Citigroup up here, another one testing highs at very light volumes, $44.88. March 15th high, 3.5 million shares. Did and have gone above it. It looks like we're closing above it, too, but not a lot of volume. Much better volume yesterday, 1.6 million shares, but still going in to 3.5 million shares. That huge day of the March 7th out here. So we'll continue to see and watch these, but I suspect you're not going to get any kind of sign of strength in this thing until probably after 2 o'clock when we see those FOMC meetings. So a lot of plays out here that look like they could go well, but it is going to be interesting. We've got just about 30 seconds left. Want to send out a bunch of white light to those people that I lived around for many years. I lived in went to a high school that had, in the 50s, almost 300 students die. And, of course, we were always being practiced for places to go. When tornadoes came, my medical records were at a Joplin hospital and now are littered across almost half the state after it got hit last year. But just send out some white light for those folks and hope that they put their lives back together fairly quickly. You all have a great and safe and wonderful day.